Hey, this is Miko, and we're going to talk today about NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. We're going to talk about what it isn't first, and then we'll move on to how we can use this. What is NLP as it is related to sales or specifically persuasion? So, NLP, again, Neuro-Linguistic Programming is a term that can encompass a lot of things, and a lot of it is like if you look for it on Google or Wikipedia, it'll be called pseudoscience, which it basically is as far as what they're talking about, because what it became is and it's a mix between therapy approach, self-improvement approach. There's an aspect of religion or religiosity in it, as far as like the new age and new human potential movement. There are a lot of people that claim to be able to certify, give certifications, and make you a master of that. So we're not going to do any of that. I'm not going to certify you. I'm not a certified whatever. What I'm going to talk about is specific techniques that are included within NLP that are proven to work within the realm of negotiation, selling, persuasion, and it goes as far back as the whole subject started probably in the 60s and 70s, but I've seen evidence that it was used by foreign intelligence agencies such as KGB, the Soviet intelligence, as techniques that they use in recruiting and interrogation of subjects. And it's basically a way to extract information and to influence somebody by not just with your words, but with other techniques. So we talked about what it isn't. Let's talk about what it is. So it's kind of like a common knowledge about these numbers: 7%, 35%, 55%. So more or less, it means that when I'm talking to you, the words that I'm using are only carrying 7% of my effort, 7% of what you're getting from me. 35% is the tone, basically my voice and how I use it, and 55% is body language. So somebody came up with these numbers. Obviously, they're kind of like arbitrary, but the point is that just the words is not enough. A lot of times people might be saying the correct information, but we or somebody else is just not willing to accept it because it's not being transferred in the right form. It just doesn't work with us. It's not convincing us. Sometimes we have like an internal instinctive negative reaction to it. Politics is a big example of that, how it could be facts and science, and people just still go very against it. So mechanical techniques of NLP is just methods of applying this understanding to practice. Just if we accept that what I'm telling you, if I'm your salesperson, is only 7% are the words that are important, then we have to think like, okay, then what are we doing with the rest? Okay, what is 35% is tone? So how do I use my tone? How do I use my body language? Like, what am I supposed to do with my hands? And it's throwing you gang signs or what? So let's talk about specifically how we can use that, and that's what we're going to do. So basically, again, it's a technical aspect of persuasion. It's not what we say, but how we say it. And also, a big part, we all know that rapport building in sales is extremely important, but we all approach it from like old school approach. Where do you live? Oh, I live there too. Where do you work? Oh, my cousin works there. What's your name? Oh, my dog's name is whatever. So just we're trying to find common ground, and that's pretty much the only way how we know to build rapport in like a traditional sales environment. We're going to move beyond that, and we'll talk about a few techniques that you can use to build rapport way easier. That's not going to be tacky, and when it doesn't, if it, not going to claim that it's going to work 100%, but it's definitely going to improve your chances. So before we start, you have to remember that you need to learn, at least get something from your subject, let's say, your client. And to get something, you have to ask questions and listen. This is a whole different subject. I have, like, I believe, the whole video about asking questions. But here it's important because to be able to use these techniques, you need to know it has to be customized. All of this only works in a specific situation. So like this video might not gonna work on a lot of you because I cannot use these techniques on you. I don't know what kind of person you are. I might be putting you off. My accent might be annoying. The beard, this thing on the wall might be just throwing you off. So I don't know what's going on. But if I'm in front of you, my chances are of convincing you are way, way higher. So we're asking questions, we're listening, we asking clarifying questions, and that's how we get and we know what to do with you next. So once I heard you a little bit in person or on the phone, things that I can tell right away, are you a fast speaking person or a slow speaking person? You know, large cities, it's known that people from like New York, they speak faster, and people from the countryside, maybe from the south, they're going to speak a lot slower. A lot of this is age as well. People tend to speak slower with age. So, rate of speech. So, what do I do with the rate of speech that I'm getting from you? Is I'm going to match this. So, as soon as I got you on the phone and you told me a few words and I'm asking you a couple of questions and you spoke for 30 seconds, I can kind of gauge the rate of speech. What I'm going to do with that, I'm going to match it to you back. I'm going to speak in the same way, speak in the same tone. If you speak like that, then I'm going to answer you like that. Okay? I'm going to do as much as I can to match the way you talk. Okay? And you would think that sometimes people will catch up on that and it will feel like you're making fun of them. You'll be surprised that it works. And even when they feel that you're doing that, it's just going to be a little bit funny. So don't worry about this. So the basic thing is to match the rate of their speech. Next thing is the volume of speech. Are they a low talker? Oh, they talk like this. So if you talk to me like this, I'm going to talk to you like this as well. If on the phone I can barely hear you, then I'm going to answer in the same way. Now, let's take it beyond that. So I have an accent. It's a little bit harder for me because my command of English language is not as great. Still, I was able to use that. I worked in San Francisco in sales, and we would sell a specialty used car, and somebody from Alabama will call. And obviously, they speak differently. And I cannot really do Southern accent, but I could kind of talk back a little bit the way they talk to me. And again, right now, I don't remember what I sounded like, but I remember that I basically responded the way they talked to me. So that's just on the phone. Now let's move to in person. Body language, right? It's not just the tone. Body language is whatever, 55%. How are we going to use that? So first of all, you have to be mindful of your own body language. Overall, it's better to stand straight. Your hands should not be in your pockets, should not be crossed, definitely not crossed. And I come from the military background, so it's kind of comfortable for me to stand like this. Not the best thing, either. The best thing is hands on the side. When I'm listening, just let them hang. Don't worry about it. It's not going to look weird. It feels weird, but it looks fine. And when I speak, I'm going to use my hands to maybe use some gestures and hopefully match the way that person speaks. So beyond that, once I met you in person and I see how you stand, I'm going to mirror the way you stand. If it's the angle, some people straight stand right in front of you. Some people are not comfortable and I got to be standing at an angle. So with a person like that, I'm also going to turn in an angle. If it's sitting down, if I sit like this, if the customer sits like this, I'm going to sit like that too. I'm just going to mirror it from the other side, left to right. If they lean back, I'm going to lean back. Cross knees, cross legs, I'm going to do that as well. Lean forward, I'm going to lean a little bit forward, not, in their face, but you get the point. Just mirror, match and mirror what they do. Language, posture, tone of voice, accent, everything. Eye contact, that's a big one. So some people are comfortable with eye contact. It could be hard for some of you because, when you don't have, especially when you're a new salesperson, your confidence is not great. It's hard to maintain eye contact. It could just literally induce anxiety. But when you can, if you can, match the eye contact of that person. So if they maintain eye contact, you do as well. If they don't, then you don't as well. So I've seen people that just like they won't look at me and just stand like this, and I would stand like this too, and just I would talk to them like that, and it feels funny. Again, it feels like they're gonna catch up on that. They're gonna feel like I'm making fun of them. Never happens. Never happens. And one thing, even beyond that, I've heard some trainers say that even if I tell you that I'm going to use these techniques on you and you see when I'm going to use them, it's still going to work. You're still going to like me more as you'll be more accepting to what I'm going to tell you. It'll be funny a little bit. It'll become like a joke. But even, I'm not saying tell the customer you're going to try to hypnotize them with NLP, but even if they catch up on that, they're not going to be, nobody's going to be mad at you on that. The really advanced stuff, again, like what I read about, like the way KGB used to use that when they would try to like recruit somebody on the street to turn them into their own agent, match the rate of walking. This is actually something you can use. If you're on the lot walking with a customer to see another car, see how they walk and walk the same. Match it, left, right, like marching. Why is marching in the military like builds team spirit? Because they march together. They all do the same thing. Why do you think in a big concert you feel like you are part of something when everybody dances and just bounces with music? It's the same thing, but this will be way more subtle. Next level is breathing. If you are kind of like a little bit off the subject, but let's say you're dating or trying to date somebody new. If you can get to the point when you can see the rate of their breathing and you match the rate of their breathing, it's going to create the level of intimacy that's just could be beyond something you can achieve with other things. Blinking, same thing. Person blinks a lot, blink back. So again, it could be ridiculous. It get to those little things, but they do work. So what you have to do is basically, again, start by asking questions and listening, and then just try these things. Just try it. Just see how it goes. And you'll be surprised. If you actually do that, you'll be surprised how quickly you can turn a customer and you didn't even say anything. All you did is listen to them and you acted like them, and suddenly they're in love with you and you're like the best salesperson. Um, Now we go back to actually, what you actually say. So even with the words that you use, there are techniques that will move it beyond what you say to the way you try to convince them. So first of all, use the words. I ask you a question. Let's say it's a car that you're shopping for a car. So I ask you a question. What are you looking for in a new car? You tell me safety. I ask you, okay, what do you mean by safety? Well, safety is important because I get on the freeway, like you tell me a story, and usually people use the same words. I'm sure you've listened to me a lot. If you have listened to me a lot, you're already caught up on some words that I repeat all the time. We all do that. So if you catch that person within 2 minute conversation uses the same word 2, 3 times, use that word back. If they use some kind of a phrase, a turn of like the way they speak, use it back to them. Just basically you speak in their language. If it's difficult to you and you want to just get really mechanical and very easy way to do that is, remember, you ask questions, right? So you ask a question. Let's say I ask you, what are you looking for in a new car? Well, I'm looking something with nice performance. Something with nice performance. So just use the last 3 words, convert it, just use your voice to intone a question, give it back to them. What does it do? Well, first of all, it's proof that you're listening. It proves, or it's not proof, but it shows that you're interested. You're going to get more information. You're going to get, on the different level, you're going to understand what they mean by performance, because performance can mean a lot of things, same as safety. So just take the last 3 words, repeat it as a question. Next level. So I talk about this in the video about the test drive, I believe, but the whole thing is when you got the customer, even when customer calls the dealership, it's already a big deal for some people. A lot of people just don't want to call. So think about this. When they actually call you, it means that, it's already a big deal. But if they're there in person, that's next level. What you want to do is you want to make this an experience. Experience meaning that try to attach positive emotion to their visit, and that positive emotion will translate from the whole experience to you and to the car that they want to buy. So I'll explain it, what I mean by that. When I do a test drive, I'm going to plan the test drive so it's going to be exciting. It's not going to be stressful. It's going to be nice and easy first and quiet. But then at some point, there's going to be an opportunity for them to step on the gas and maybe do some twisties and push the brake and just get a little bit of excitement from it. So that's why test drives are important, but also the way you do test drives. So again, go back to my video about test drives and see exactly what I mean. But this, and again, for whatever reason, we go back to dating. This is why it's recommended that if you go on the first, second date, you want it to be an experience, even just a dinner, right? You don't want to go. You're not going to take your date through Subway. Why? Subway might be fine. You might like it, or let's say something that people like, cheap, but Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out here in California. It's cheap. Everybody loves it. But you're not going to go on the first date. Why? You want to make it an experience. You want to transfer the feel of this amazing food and environment, and there's a band playing, and so that your date associate those feelings towards you. Next level, you do something exciting. You go to, roller coaster. This is something that people having hard times just dividing those things. If they feel an emotion, they attach it to the whole thing. So if you are involved in something that you change their state and it's something exciting, they feel good, that it's interesting, that they're going to attach this to you, they're going to like you more, and it's going to improve your chances of that they buy the car. And lastly, just a small thing, but it works really well. Positive reinforcement. I don't know if you have, especially if somebody that has either dogs or children will know that you want to reinforce positive behavior so you can get more of that. This is what positive reinforcement is. It's very simple. Your dog does something that you like, does the command sit. You tell him sit, he sits down. You give him a treat. Well, he thinks, okay, this is good. It works. Children, same thing. They draw a picture. That's a beautiful picture. So now they want to draw more. They want to get better. Same things with customers. I mean, just with people overall. With it works. I know my girlfriend uses it on me. I know it works. I don't mind. It's funny to me, but I want to be a good boyfriend, so why not? So customer comes in. What car are you interested? Well, we're thinking about a new Honda CR-V. That's a great choice. Nice. Good. You picked a good car. That's awesome. I mean, how hard it is. And you think the customer is going to be annoyed of that? No, it gives him a nice feeling. Positive reinforcement, encouragement. Like they tell you something, they answer a question. I really like that answer. That's interesting. Or I appreciate you being honest and straightforward with me. Things like that. Just, I like this. Really good. Good job. Test drive. So going back on a test drive, they stepped on the gas. You told them, go ahead and get some speed out of it. Wow, you really handled that turn really nicely. Or, the way you applied those brakes. Nice driving. Good job. They're driving. They're not going to even think what's going on, but it's going to get in their mind that it's something, your experience together becomes better, becomes more positive. And then it's just simple things like compliments. Make sure they're like actual compliments, not, you're not going to be hitting on customers. So this is a little shaky because you have to know the line that you should not cross, and sometimes it could be tricky, especially if it's different, men versus women, women versus men. That could be difficult. But again, good choice. That's a compliment. Somebody has a trade. You really took good care of this car. You had it for 10 years. It looks awesome. Good job. Things like that. You can find a way to compliment people. What I like about the way you talk to me, like somebody's beating you up on the price. I appreciate you being so good in negotiation. It means you're a smart customer, and we're gonna have a great selling relationship. Something like this. Positive reinforcement, choice affirmation, encouragement, compliments. I hope this was helpful. Sell a lot of cars. If you sell something else, just sell. People are going to buy it anyway. Might as well buy it from you.